Some more later. Of course, 2 matches coming up first, though. Tribe Gaming with the biggest roster movements of the offseason, some huge free agent signings, going up against Chivas Esports, which had a great run, mostly due to the insane performance of Anaban in the No Tilt League Special Edition. So can he carry again here, Andrew, against this Tribe Gaming roster?
Yeah, speaking of insane numbers, Tribe has it in spades, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Azelis, Buffmac, Jupiter King, and TNT. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Azelis and Buffmac, but Jupiter and TNT, there's this language barrier between the two. I want to know who we're going to see today.
Very interesting possibility on the other side, Chivas Esports. And again, we talked about Anaban and what he has done in the past on ladder, but more importantly, what he did at this highest level in No Tilt League Special Edition, leading up to the CRL West issue here against a team like Tribe that has pretty middle of the pack level experience in 9 combined seasons between their 4-man roster.
Yeah, you know, and Adrian's numbers really come from the very first season of CRL. So here we go. It's going to be Azelis and Buffmac coming out for Tribe, which was the expected duo. They're banning Tornado. On the other side of it, you have Pompeo and Adrian, who are banning Minor. Now,
number 1, Chivas Esports at the top of your screen, bottom of your screen, Tribe Gaming. And an unofficial poll I ran on Twitter a few minutes ago has Chivas Esports the favorites 52.2% to 47.8% voted by you guys there on Twitter. So let's see if you were right as we move into our first game of 2v2 between these two squads.
Yeah, a bit surprising there as you look at, Chivas being ranked 2 spots lower than Tribe in our power rankings, our unofficial power rankings. So we'll see what happens here.
So solid damage to open things up for Tribe Gaming on the right-hand side. Of course, Buffmac has never really been primarily a 2v2 player. This has been a focus of Tribe Gaming in the offseason coming into this 2020 run. Azelis, though, after a rough first season in CRL EU, kind of reinvented himself over as part of Team Queso as a 2v2 player. And now, coming into this season, he has the top 2v2 career win rate at 71%. So the Frenchman seems to have found a pretty solid home in this first opening set.
I mean, the guy played out of his mind in the 2v2 set. We were all kind of shocked when we saw him shift over into it. But since then, last season, he didn't lose a 2v2 game. It was insane. Or excuse me, yeah, last season in the fall, and then you go back to 2019 in the spring, and he went 11-4 in games and 5-2 in sets. The guy is an insane 2v2 player, and I'm hoping that he can elevate the play of Buffmac.
We'll see. Buffmac has primarily been a head-to-head player throughout his career. One of the top King of the Hill players overall. So, as you said, we'll see how their teamwork goes together right now. Balloon Heel Spirit, so taking sort of the Lumberloon Heel archetype from head-to-head play and bringing it into 2v2 is Chivas Esports. A lot of pieces, although to the final minute of regulation play.
Yeah, Buffmac and Azelis off to a really, really great start here with this bait deck with some pretty heavy hitters there. You got the Mega Knight, obviously, for the splash damage. You got the P.E.K.K.A there for the very high direct single target damage. And, of course, they're very, very tanky. So this is working out really well for them. They're doing a good job cycling the Goblin barrels, making sure they're getting the most out of their Skeleton barrels, making their opponents use their spells, the zaps coming out and getting no value.
Well, the hard part here is they only have one really excellent counter that we've seen so far to a Goblin Barrel, and that's the arrows. The other true counter, the other card that can kill those Goblin Barrels in one shot is the delivery, but that delay in 2v2 in particular makes it even harder to use. So this is going to be an interesting thing. We'll see if this on the left-hand side, can this balloon get in? Nope, not going to get it done. Azelis and Buffmac take game number 1 and take it easily to start off their 2020 season.
Yeah, it was a nice all just to try to keep those goblins off the tower. And here you go, the stats. The reason why is you see the freeze spell. The freeze spell is the spell in there that, sometimes is going to be your big spell. Maybe that's going to be another small spell to help out with these barrels.
Yeah, this was tough. And you see, interesting, Lumberloon Heal typically doesn't run a freeze spell in head-to-head play. You understand the idea of putting it into a 2v2 deck. And this is not dissimilar to what we saw yesterday. Here we go, taking a look at some of the action from this last game. And this sort of shows the end that they were always caught between a rock and a hard place, only having one spell that's an excellent response to the Goblin Barrel, The zap, of course, is fine for the skeleton barrel, but that delivery with the delay, just hard to get the timing right. You see them trying to go for a super drop here, not enough. And this is the second time in a row now, Andrew. We saw this yesterday. Gotta wonder if maybe that advantage isn't as strong for Tribe Gaming as it might be for many other squads.
Yeah, you know, and you look at the other guys that are on Chivas that would come in, and Anaban's the only answer, right? So then for Tribe, you're like, well, who matches up best against Anaban? Is it Jupiter King? Is it TNT? I mean, their numbers are pretty insane when it comes to 1v1, but the thing is that I think it's going to be Jupiter, even though we don't have a lot of notes on him when it comes to CRL specifically.
I mean, Jupiter King was phenomenal in No Tilt League Special Edition, kind of a coming out party for him there. So yeah, I'm expecting, look, either way they go in 1v1 will end up being a great choice. TNT has the #2 overall win rate throughout all sets career-wise among players in CRL West right now. Jupiter King had a 70% win rate in No Tilt League Special Edition and put up some amazing King of the Hill sweeps, some great 1v1s. So either one of those choices is phenomenal. And we know who's coming out for Chivas. It's Anaban, and maybe that gives Tribe an advantage no matter how this opening set goes for 2v2.
Yeah, so getting back into the opening set and what's actually happening in this game, it's just going back into bait for the bottom of the screen. They're just running back the same thing, and why not? It worked so well the first time. Top of the screen, changing things up. 2 giant skeletons, duh, right?
That might be the best response. There we go.
It just feels like if they're not banned, you got to play them.
E-Wiz, Log, Snowball, so maybe expecting to come back to something in this direction. We'll see if there are any other small spells in the hand for Pompeo and Adrian. With that Lumberjack dropping there, though, I have to imagine that might not be the case.
Yeah, they eat a good amount of damage from the goblins there. Lumberjack not going to be the best response. The attack time is nice, but not a spell that's going to completely mitigate 100% of the damage. So I wonder if Azilius and Buffmac look at that and go, all right, let's turn up the pressure and see what else they have. What those other 5 cards are.
And notice that P.E.K.K.A placement on the giant skeleton, Andrew. That's only a viable P.E.K.K.A placement because Tornado is banned. If Tornado was available, putting the Tornado on that P.E.K.K.A, you can pull the giant skeleton. Unless the change to Tornado has made this not possible anymore, you can pull that giant skeleton using the P.E.K.K.A all the way to the tower for death damage. We've seen it in the past. So that's how important that Tornado ban is for that particular placement.
So bait still paying off this time, Pompeo and Adrian just having a really, really difficult time getting any damage on the tower, getting any aggressive push coming in, and you're assuming that the balloon is probably in there when you see Giant Skeleton and Lumberjack, but you can also see, Ram Riders are paired with them, Hog's been paired with them in the past, but what we do need is any sort of offense from Chivas right now.
And here we go. Hog into the right-hand side. Heal Spirit bats up high. Mega Knight in the counter. And this is the problem, is Chivas knows that there's a Mega Knight and P.E.K.K.A in this deck. They're trying to get them out of cycle. We'll see if this is the opportunity. They should have a second Hog most likely in this deck, and right now P.E.K.K.A and Mega Knight are both out of cycle. So let's see if they counter push here on the right-hand side as we go into the final 90, and there you go. Starting that Hog very, very low, an untraditional placement, but wanted to make sure it's behind that Lumberjack, and this Hog going full coast to coast does get one raged up shot. They need a lot more than that, though, to come back with just 60 seconds left.
One thing that I think is kind of interesting about this is going for the Hog Rider when it appears like, they adjusted their decks clearly, and, they can deal with log bait a lot better. But the Hog is the win condition. If they weren't expecting Azilius and Buff to run the same deck at all, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You talk about the P.E.K.K.A, you talk about the Mega Knight, making it really, really difficult to break through, but here's another push on the right.
Lumberjack distracting the Mega Knight. A freeze comes in, but no, the bats saved the day. Oh no, brutal here for Chivas Esports. They are holding on with 48 seconds left. They gotta make a few more come from behind moves.
Yeah, Larry gets hit on the top left. Poison comes down. That gap is getting wider and wider as the time is ticking down. Only 38 seconds left. Barrel comes in again. It's a tricky barrel or offset to the side.
A huge freeze.
Yeah, that's a big time freeze there, but still, 899 remaining, 669 on the top of your screen. Snowball comes in, but there's the Goblin Barrel late. A beautifully timed Goblin Barrel right after the spell comes in for the Skelly Barrel, and a very, very quick and easy 2-up, 2 down for Tribe, and Chivas is in trouble, Rich.
Mega Knight and P.E.K.K.A both of responses, and still being kind of down one response for that double bait deck yet again.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so you look at that when you look at that deck choice, and you're wondering, did they expect it to go a little different?
They did have more answers to bait, and they didn't have a great win condition.
Let's take a look at that replay, and this was the story of both games here, was not having enough responses to the bait. So, you're talking about the Hog versus the P.E.K.K.A. and Mega Knight. The freeze nearly made enough, but on the other half of it, not having the defensive spell responses to so many bait cards. And there's only, you have 2 Skeleton Barrels, 2 Goblin Barrels. The ability to put pressure on it and repeatedly made a great job with Mad Raider as well, making their choices in No Tilt League Special Edition. And it will be Jupiter King and Anaban, number 1 here of our 1v1 set. Anaban top of your screen, Jupiter King at the bottom. And to continue that same thought, Anaban's a player who is not a one-trick, and instead he's mechanically really, really good with every single card. It makes him very versatile. And so part of that with how good Chivas is at analysis is you can really give him anything to play, and he can play it well. It gives their analysis team a lot of flexibility. And those two things combined are part of why Anaban was so successful in No Tilt.
And it makes it so incredibly difficult for your opponent to game or strategize against someone like that when they are as versatile as they are and when they can really lean into favorable matchups. So Jupiter King here at the bottom of your screen, Anaban at the top, 2 people that really had their coming out party with No Tilt and the things that Koji and Mondo are doing over there. And I'm very excited to see what both of them can do here in CRL. You've heard their names for years and years, especially Anaban when it comes to ladder. This is a big-time 1v1 matchup.
Yeah, I mean, both these rookies, but it's funny to say rookie with the experience level between the 2 of them overall. Jupiter King crush it at No Tilt, Anaban crush it at No Tilt, and of course Anaban known as the King Sniper on ladder, but he's certainly adding more to that reputation now with the way he's performing in the professional leagues. We'll see if he does more here, and it's looking like Anaban is just going straight Anaban here. Very interesting.
And I really like the Lumberjack up front to rage up the P.E.K.K.A. protect it from that Inferno Dragon. He gets the reset. Baby Dragon now distracting the Inferno, and then raged up Baby Dragon getting a couple belches in. Yes, Jupiter King ended up getting the best that he could out of that situation, but Anaban did a great job of taking his elixir advantage and turning up the heat.
So a pretty quick cycle graveyard deck for Jupiter King. Dark Prince and Inferno Dragon. You understand why the Inferno Dragon's in here up against Anaban. Anaban known very much for P.E.K.K.A. Loon, and you see the P.E.K.K.A. here, so we'll see what the rest of this looks like, but definitely happy to have that. Inferno Dragon is Jupiter King as we go into the final minute of regulation play. Double elixir time kicking off, and a second graveyard just put a little pressure there on the back end.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see what other spells Anaban has here. There's the balloon coming out behind the P.E.K.K.A. I think we all were expecting it, but now it's going to be about getting that balloon to the tower. There's the freeze. Now finally turns around. Jupiter King's like, look, man, we all know you very well. He saves and holds the Goblin Cage, and that was some really nice defense from the tribe representative.
So fans of Anaban have to be going nuts right now. P.E.K.K.A. Loon freeze in his very first game of CRL. Very interesting. Although with Snowball, the Cage to pull things around, and the Inferno Dragon, we'll see if Jupiter King can hold off against that combination. Puts down another graveyard in the back, keeping pressure on the opposite side. Poison for the Ice Wiz, and a little bit on the tower as well. So right now it's Jupiter King with the lead as we go into sudden death overtime. 1175 right-hand side for the Chivas representative, and 1906 on that right-hand side, and a solid kite getting that rage up. Lumberjack away from the action, but it comes back due to the Dark Prince. Freeze up high right now. Anaban trying to get that P.E.K.K.A. to go on tower. Might have balloon come around the back end once that Inferno Dragon goes down.
There's the balloon coming out. Archer's coming down to defend. Jupiter King really hanging on here still. I mean, this is the thing, is he's got such a great quick cycle, and he's all the answers that he pressure on the tower with the graveyard, and then poison out units to defend.
Ice Golem kiting away on the P.E.K.K.A. This time Jupiter King not going to make that same mistake. Tornado pulls it all together with the freeze. Baby Dragon trying to get some splash damage on tower, doesn't do it. Behind by a couple hundred HP is Anaban. Jupiter King putting pressure on the opposite side. There is a half-health P.E.K.K.A. going on the left-hand side, but this graveyard all over the tower on the right. 48 seconds left.
And he can just kite that P.E.K.K.A around all day long, no problem. You get the tank coming down for the archers with the ice golem, then he's kiting the P.E.K.K.A. Freeze comes in again for Anaban, but he's already back around. He, being Jupiter King, to any tank that he needs. Archer's still alive in the back, and then an easy poison graveyard on top of that Princess Tower in the top right. And Anaban is now feeling the pressure, knowing that there's no way for him to stop these pushes. Jupiter King maybe was looking for that deck, and he put it to work.
Yes, you expect this, but I have this cycle in perfect position to take care of those offensive pushes, and you saw Anaban trying to keep the pressure on. In the end, Graveyard, too much for him in this opening game. Jupiter King, legendary moment. It didn't pull off, so we'll see what he does here in Game 2 against Jupiter King.
I mean, if it does work out, he looks like a genius. He looks like a god. He looks like the greatest ladder guy that moved into CRL and ran his deck. But here's the thing. It's CRL. It's not no tilt. Is it the same level? Yes, they're all pros. They're all the best in the world. But for some reason here, it feels like it was just the wrong decision. I love the idea of busting out in Week 3 or Week 4, or maybe even the first week of playoffs if they make it there. Throw your opponent for like, wow, he finally did it. Not like, oh yeah, first game, first match, first opportunity. There it is. Let's counter it. So here we go.
You know, I am not super surprised, Andrew, to see 3M Royal Hogs as the deck pick for Jupiter King in game number 2. I have to admit, I am surprised to see 3 Musketeers played this early into the game and to this much success. Anaban, I guess, didn't have the right cards the way he wanted. He poisoned the 2 Musketeers, put a Baby Dragon on one side, but look at the damage here. So you open up, you cycle. You don't just open up, you cycle to 3 Musketeers to make them your first real play of the game. And you'd think this would be a total disaster for Jupiter King. Ends up working out perfectly.
I mean, Jupiter King must know this deck in and out, right? He sees the 2 cards in his opening hand with the Ice Golem and the Heal Spirit, and he goes, all right, well, I know what the other 6 cards are. There's a pretty good opportunity I can get to a big offensive blow here if I want to sell all out. So what does he do? He cycles. There's the 3 Musketeers. There's the Royal Hogs. They're all in hand. He goes for it, and Anaban, clearly, you know, you see the Baby Dragon, you see the Barbs, and the Miner, you're like, all right, he's going to the skies. How can he recover now?
Yeah, this is going to be rough. 3 Musketeers against Lava Hound. We'll see how Anaban chooses to go through, and a Royal Delivery on top of it. Everything going wrong for Chivas Esports.
And
this
the Heal
is
Spirit.
looking very much like a 4-game sweep for Tribe to open things up.
Look at that beautiful Heal Spirit coming in on top of the Hunter, helping clean things up. That Musketeer is still alive, man. That is what I love to see, and that's what Jupiter King has done handedly in these 2 games. He's protecting the girls. He's protecting his incredibly high DPS ground units and the Musketeer and the Archers time and time again. And it's just beautiful plays here from Jupiter. I mean, Anaban is just caught looking straight up, and as he said, it couldn't go any worse for him when you see that Royal Delivery come in and then the Hunter. It's just bad news.
Yeah, we don't talk about the actual matchup that much, Andrew, but this is one of those 4-0 sweep to start off CRL 2020 for Tribe Gaming. High expectations met and leapt over Tribe Gaming. 4-0, clean, beautiful play, and got it done in match number 1. And this so far is the fastest we've seen it go here at CRL in 2020.
Exactly what some thought they couldn't. And honestly, Tribe is one of the teams where I was wondering if something was a little bit off. I am so happy to say, and I'll say it right here on broadcast, I was very wrong, and I'm happy that I was wrong. This was so fun to watch. And here we go, Jupiter King. But, you know, 2 rookies coming out today, and, you know, welcome to CRL.
Yeah, here we go. The tower fall on the left-hand side going to be simple. And then the defense here on the right-hand side. You see just a single Musketeer. He split 2 to the left, 1 to the right, and you're going, okay, there's a pretty big push coming that side. Oh no, Royal Delivery, Hunter, 1, 2, and that was the end. That's it. There's no recovering from that. GG, well played, regroup for next week.
And he does